Hey, friends, welcome back to season 3 of Stars of Learning podcast. And I'm your host, Jyoti G. And this is an exclusive Leaders Spotlight interview with our guest on their insights and experiences. And I'm sure you will have loads of nuggets which will inspire you to take action and also connect with my guest. By the way, friends, if you're joining to this show for first time, then make sure you also check my previous episode where we are talking about reimagine the learning and development as a future business drivers by Kaushik Das. Currently, he is working as a global learning partner at Siemens India, and his lens on L&D is amazing and futuristic, friends. And do subscribe to my channel so you are notified on our upcoming shows. So, Kaushik, we have planned some specific super questions like a rapid round to know about the leaders
Oh, wow.
who come on this podcast. And these are targeted to know about you, which will influence my listeners to engage, enlighten, and empower. And that's the mission of my podcast, too. So, are you ready?
Yeah, absolutely. Bring it on.
Okay, so according to you, what is the star moment?
When you feel good about yourself and feel like patting on your back for the work that you have done,
What inspires you to do everything that you do today?
opportunity to learn and get better.
If you own the company, what's one thing you would like to do differently in learning?
I will try to be the role model to help people to get better and also encourage them to outperform me.
Sure. And what are the three most important things you would like to accomplish right now?
More of digital skills, finding more time to pursue other profession, being a part of global cohorts and network.
Wow. And this question is based on my audience request. And they are keen to know the strengths of the thought leaders who come on my podcast. So, if I may ask you, what are your strengths?
My strengths are, I will say, three top of the mind. One is energy, second is passion, and third is resilience.
And what's the best book you have read this year or any time you want to recommend to my listeners?
Quite a few actually. I've been an avid reader, but recently I read a book named Thought Leaders by Matt Church and Scott Stein. That book talks about how to become a thought leader. So I think it's a very interesting one and good. It could be good for any HR or L&D professional.
Interesting. So, what are the characteristics of a best boss or a role model, a mentor or a coach you ever had, and what made that person great for you?
Well, it was. I have had quite a few good bosses in my career, but what stood out for me was humility, positive attitude, and ability to inspire.
Hmm. And are there any tools that you use on a daily basis to be a better you?
Yes, quite a few. I've got a complete. Uh, I would say on my phone there are a lot of apps that I've downloaded. I use quite a few apps on my phone to learn and unlearn on an everyday basis. But other than that, picking up digital video making tools so that I can create digital content at zero cost for the company I work for, and these are the areas I have started investing in myself a lot.
And are there any habit you're practicing which has made you successful in whatever you do?
Power of positive thinking to become optimistic, continuous learning to develop high learning agility, and most importantly, taking care of mind, body, and soul every day to practice self leadership.
Wow, that's a remarkable one. Great, Kaushik. And how do you see learning trends in 2021?
Yeah, so when you talk about learning trends, 2021 will be more of digital. We are already into digital, so it will only get accelerated because of the pandemic. It will be short. It will not be very long. People will have bite-sized learning, and those concepts were there. But the attention span is dropping. People are learning in a lockdown state, so it has to be short because of the attention span is dropping further. A lot of video-based content, and what I could also see that to make it interesting, people working in the organizations are being used as maybe the models or maybe the characters to drive that learning content, which will have a strong connectivity. Courses in form of learning paths will come, of course, because in a digital space it has become easier that you click on the assessment, you see where you stand, what course you need to take. A lot of self-paced mechanism, but be it any profession, I see that the trend would be that you know about your learning path, that this is what you do and where you reach. And a lot of courses in the areas of various technologies, then developing trust, empathy, leadership skills, digital executive presence, customer value co-creation, agility, design thinking, and so on. That's where exactly I see a learning trend would be. Technology aspect, and second is the behavioral development.
Kaushik, we have come to an end of this interview. And before I ask you one last question, how can people get in touch with you to get more insight, collaborate? Where can they reach out to you?
I think LinkedIn is so far the best medium to connect. I've been very active on LinkedIn, so anybody who would
Okay,
like to connect with me can simply forward me a request, and then I would be more than happy to connect and share.
sure. And on a closing note, and that last question, your advice to people who are new and want to accelerate their career.
Well, I don't know whether any advice would work in that way, because what I advise may not work for others, but still, you have asked me a question. Uh, to me, create a great learning environment for yourself by having people around you who are better than you are. That's one. Then give yourself a lot of exposure in whatever you do. That's second. Gather experience and self reflect both on your failures and success. That's third. And finally, educate yourself first and do share your learnings with others to become educated in true sense.
Hmm. That's a super cool, great insight, Kaushik. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Kaushik, for being on this show. I really enjoyed all the nuggets, and you have put a lot of thoughts into my head on how to get this going. I really like the book you brought in, Thought Leader. Thank you so much, Kaushik. I really enjoyed the whole conversation. I'm sure my will definitely enjoy it.
Thank you, Jyoti. Thanks for having me once again. It was a pleasure.
So, friends, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. And if you have got any learning or motivated hearing to this show, then make sure you share this podcast with your friends and post it on all social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Insta. And do tag us and let your friends know about this amazing information you have learned, and let this piece of information help many others to engage, enlighten, and empower. Thank you so much for your patience and tuning into this show. Bye for now. Take good care of yourself and do something engaging, enlightening,